Alright, now Fiddle, I know that the Hollow Hollow Jungle is your favorite dungeon in this game. That's just inarguable. Inarguable.
It is made a very good impression, and I could stand to see a lot more of it.
Are you ready to meet your second favorite dungeon in the game?
I mean, how close a second is it? Like, is it like actually approaching the greatness? Or is it like lagging a long way behind? This is an important consideration.
Let's see, it has at least 2 required trips, and it's got a major fetch quest, so I'll let you be the judge.
I do like enormous fetch quests. This is a thing that I definitely speak positively about. And as we've well established, I'm a big fan of long involved dungeons that we have to make multiple trips through.
No surprise there. But we're not losing again, guys. We have to stop them, no matter what.
That's right, the power of good vibes are going to send Shanath and Valara packing for good this time.
That's how this works. And like, speaking of how this works, it's definitely the case that now we've been here for a while, and like all the plot pieces have started moving, and like people want stuff, and like there's conflict happening, and the stuff is going down, and we've already done the bunch of obnoxious dungeon trekking. But fuck all of that. This is the perfect time to add another long involved dungeon. This is just the pacing. We don't have any choice. Game design.
We can't just give up. What if they've already started pro-machination?
Hey, look over there.
Alright, well, here we go. Here is the problem. They have burned away the roots to get to our destination, so we are going to need to find a way to cross this big chasm.
And when you say find...
The Veinroots must be in there.
Well, we're going to need some help.
Some way down.
Well, we can't use the speeder.
Couldn't we ask Lolo to make us something? Gadgets seem to be her specialty.
Right. Okay, let's go back to Opu.
I mean, that's an awful idea, but given that it's the one that requires us to trek the whole way back across the map and do stuff...
Lolo this, Lolo that. Huh.
I'm feeling it. That is quite a walk cycle there, Millie. The animators had a theory. We are going to portray an emotion here.
Alright, well, good news is that we don't actually have to go all the way to Opu. She came to us.
That's incredibly suspicious.
What are you doing here?
I came to see the celestial tree.
Yes, came to see the tree that she's not allowed to touch.
Well, your timing is great. We have a favor to ask.
Huh? Oh, okay, sure.
Like, do we even know what we're asking her for?
I just need to make something that'll help.
No, in fact, we have no idea what we're asking her for, just that she needs to build us something.
Something to help us cross a gap.
Dagroots?
And wouldn't you know, she can do it. But she's gonna need Dagroots.
You can find at the ends of the celestial tree's roots.
Okay, I'm gonna take a wild guess and guess that we find those in the place that I love.
Look for a Dagroot.
Just, you know, channeling some game design vibes.
Hey, wait a
Not quite, not quite. The Dagroots are in this dungeon. They're kind of in each of the little branches.
Different elements.
Ah,
I need one of each kind.
but we have to find 5 of them.
Plus,
Oh, we sure do. One for each element. That otherwise it simply wouldn't do.
This sounds hard. Just how are we supposed to get into the tight spots? Shove the dingbat through? Oh, you can use this fella. He won't have any trouble getting into the narrower places.
So when we run into a tight spot, we just use this toy. All right then. We'll go get all 5 dag roots. Be right back.
So, we're doing one enormous involved fetch quest to find the things that will let us build the one thing that will let us actually progress through the dungeon to do the thing that we were trying to do in the first place. Am I about on top of this?
Yes. Yes, you are.
That is the most game design thing I've ever heard.
So, you want to meet some enemies?
Like, frankly, some violence might be a welcome change of pace and like a little bit of catharsis at this point.
Alright, well, this is the Machina Ballerina, and it is all about violence. It does exactly one thing that is not its basic attack string.
I mean, dare I ask?
We're about to see it in about 2 seconds.
Oh, that kind of thing.
May my blade be sharp.
So, you know, just a nice casual 1100 damage attack. Anytime it wants.
Yeah, but I feel like there's kind of a necessary hard cap on exactly how much that can hurt. And like, I don't know, unless the spread is really weird, it seems like it should be relatively trivial to, like, always survive it with somebody. At which point, you win.
It won't kill you, but it will come very close.
Just face tank it, it's fine.
It will outright kill you if you are, like, incapacitated. Like, for example, we got the Hot Springs card in one of, somewhere in the jungle, I think, which is a full heal, but it causes the user to fall asleep. And, if you were to get woken up by the self-destruct, it will just outright kill you. Because the first hit that you take when you wake up is a critical.
May my blade be sharp.
Right, but like, there's still like, there's 3 of you, and there's like 3 of them. And like, most of us have enough health to like tank one of those. So for it to actually be lethal, then each of them has to get off a self-destruct and all of them have to get kills. I'm like, I don't know, I feel like the odds are pretty good that enough of the things that will make it suboptimal can not happen and you can survive it. Especially if you're, you know, actually thumbing the scales yourself.
I mean, they're just obnoxious. They do so much damage that, like, not that they're hard, it's just really annoying.
There is the psychological factor, I guess.
Anyway, you ready to get some dag roots?
I mean, I would say ordinarily yes, but I have a feeling that there's going to be some kind of bullshit involved in this. Like, definitely the vibe sensors are going off. I have a uncanny trepidation. Aha, one of these kinds of puzzles, huh?
Puzzle is a strong word for this.
Right, but like, it's just, like, navigate him around the bullshit, don't make contact with the enemies. Like, yeah, puzzle's a strong word, but, like, definitely very obnoxious to fail at.
See, here's the fun part, which is that, now normally, if you make contact with one of the monsters, they will chase you, and then they will come back to where you are, and you will be forced to fight it. At which point it will be dead, and it will make this section a little bit easier for your next time. However, because I accidentally ran into the monster, and not the other way around, the doll just ran off, and I had to do it again.
That's very weird. Well, whatever. Like, again, it's like, yeah, puzzles. It's not a puzzle, but there's enough stuff going on that like it requires you to contend with a bunch of moving bullshit on the screen, which looks like it might be in a place, but I can see how the hitboxes on this can be like utterly fucked, and how this can get just mind-numbingly tedious after a while, like just the kind of thing that can make you incandescently angry.
I mean, you're already being asked to do this 5 times. Like, let's be clear.
Yeah.
And also, you know, not that it wasn't obvious, but please note that when you're actually carrying the Dagroots, you move twice as slow.
Fucking glacial. Had not escaped my notice. And like, I'm guessing that they're all like progressively further away and past more layers of bullshit that you have to dodge.
Oh, absolutely.
It's like I'm psychic or something. It's like I have some kind of specially attuned game design sense.
You know, I think we could go for some violence right now. So let's handle our new flavor of Empire Trooper.
I mean, I don't know why I would expect any different.
This is bound to hurt. Why you? Yeah. Why you?
This is the kind of thing that I feel like an action game can get away with a lot better than a turn-based game can. It's just like, you can make the violence in an action game cathartic to the point where you actually can just throw some enemies at you in the middle of a thing and be like, hey, do you want to kill something? And you're like, yeah, I want to kill something. And you do it, and it feels good. But like, a little of that seems to get lost in turn-based games. And I'm not fully sure what's to be done about it.
I think it's just kind of a time commitment thing. Like, even if, like in this case, they are fairly easy and straightforward to fight, like, you're already in the middle of a big, broadly tedious area, and it's like, okay, let's do some tedious combat now.
Like, part of the genius of specifically Final Fantasy XII is that it's very much the intention of that game to make the actual combat like passive, like a thing that can just play out in the background. Like, when you play it well and you build your gambits correctly, you will end up with a party that can like just take care of any combat without any like particular intervention from the player. And then they do all the you're doing all the like actual RPG quest stuff on top of that, and you roll around these areas and you do stuff, and like they throw enemies at you, but the enemies are only really a problem if you haven't set up your gambits properly. But when you like actually do the thing correctly, when you play the game correctly, that stuff just kind of melts away. And I think that's neat. Very much a style of gameplay that benefits from a nice clean division between like, here's we are going into the place to do the stuff, and here's we are preparing to go into places and do stuff. And like, here's the stuff that we have to do, here's our setup homework, basically. we're going to do it correctly. Here is your prompt to do your work. You do your work, you go out into the place and you find out if you've done it right. Just like, that's game design. Kind of makes me wonder what's going to happen with that stuff in like Final Fantasy 16 at time of recording. It's like a couple months out and we're starting to get previews of what it's going to be like. And like, it's an action game. We got to be real clear about this. It's being worked on by people who like literally made Devil May Cry 5. It's got combos, it's got technical shit, it's got all that stuff. So it's going to be the kind of game where they can give you some JRPG fetch quests to do, and then they can be like, hey, do some combat, and you can be like, yeah, I'm going to do some combat. But it's not like a JRPG solving the problem. Like, Jesus Christ, I don't want to get into the what the hell even is a JRPG discourse at this point, because I'm very fucking tired of that. But like, these kinds of games are susceptible to a problem where giving you stuff to do becomes tedious, and then giving you fights to do can also become tedious, and that kind of thing happens in JRPGs, or at least in turn-based RPGs, more than it happens in action games. And there's something here. Also,
Yeah, Soggy, okay, so first of all, this is actually required. If we tried to go, we could get the bottom route, but if we try to get the top one, like, all three of the little bats will swarm around it, and you can't get to it. So this is actually required. But also, like, Soggy, I know exactly what the fuck I'm doing. I'm burning this dungeon down.
I can respect it. Although it is quite weird that, like, there was just this candle there, and you knock it over, and it sets fire to this one exact bit of that one route, and then only that one bit burns, and then nothing else burns. Like, all feels a bit game design in a bad way.
Look, the alternative was having to do this another 2 times to get these routes, and I am here for burning it down instead.
I mean, yeah. It's not like I can't respect the burning of it down. It's just like, I feel like if you're gonna have a burn it down, then you're gonna make it satisfying, you have to do that deliberately. And this does not feel like they were trying to get like a burn it down satisfyingly vibe. This is just like some bullshit in a JRPG that happens to involve fire. It is not burning it down.
Alright, so we've done it. We've collected the 5 dag roots, and now it's time for Lolo to build us whatever it is she's going to do that will get us...
Yeah, what's the plan here? Like, do we request a specific thing? Does she have a specific thing in mind?
She knows what she's going to build.
Also, I'm a big fan of how we have to hand these things over, like, one at a time. We can't just be like, hey, we got them all. Do the thing now.
You know what's great? We could do that thing when we handed over the cookies to the guy at the port. He automatically took all of the traditional cookies you had in your inventory. So, like, literally, not even... like 15 minutes ago, the game demonstrated it could do that. It chose not to.
That should do it. It's a little rough and ready, but it should work.
This is great. Now we can get to the Veinroots. Thanks, Lolo.
Well, I don't know what I was
Can
expecting.
we really trust this thing? It looks like some kind of death trap. You don't have to worry. Lolo brand gadgets are famous for their durability.
I mean, how does it move? Does it like roll along the branch up there, or does it like have some kind of tracks that pull it along? I feel like the incline is a bit of a concern. Also, I don't know how we got to like a cable car. We couldn't have just had like a bridge or something. Or a grappling hook would have done the trick. Also, there's stuff getting burned. Like if that one branch gets burned, then we're gonna be a bit fucked.
Look, don't worry about it. Lolo built us this nice cable car, and we're going to use it to cross this gap. And that's all that matters. None of these other concerns are relevant to Soggy right now.
I'm especially not concerned by the wheel clipping through the tree branch.
Anyway, this is a great room. Big fan. Love how the music stops. Got what appears to be... Is that like spider silk everywhere? Yeah, good vibes. Definitely something you love to see.
Definitely not a portent of anything in particular. Just real, bubbly, fun, promising stuff. Well, whatever. Let's run headlong into it.
What happened here?
We're too late.
I mean, I think it's pretty obvious what happened here.
Why, hello, Soggy.
These guys showed up and the tree was completely unguarded and they were like, we're gonna break it.
Look what you're doing! Is it really worth murdering people over this?
What a hurtful thing to say. I am human, you know. The thought of taking their lives never crossed my mind. I just
Of course,
fixed them up so they don't get in the way of our work.
we killed them without thinking about it.
Someone pulled out their wings.
Once
of the
again,
heart.
Shanath
They were unconscious.
is by far the best voice
You
acting
picked
character
their
in this game.
wings? What a horrible thing to do!
Just having a great time with all of this.
Quite the contrary. They should be thanking me. Now they're ahead of their time. Heartwings have no place in an age of man and monkey. What's going on?
Shanath, there's something out there.
Yeah, something. Definitely completely unexpected thing.
An afterling?
So some of these people just have no pattern recognition at all, do they?
So, they can live in plants too. Every day you learn something new.
Shanath, what should I do with this thing?
Secure it, obviously.
Yeah, I feel like Valara really shouldn't have had to ask that one question.
I heard
Yeah,
you.
again, does these guys just not really... Are they not really doing the pattern recognition thing?
Soggy, what should we do?
You know, honestly, this game collectively, like between Shanath and his goons, our party,
But I
and
don't wanna kill
the
the
party
afterlife
in the on the dream world, like everybody is their own
I don't know
stupid
why,
JRPG
but
party.
we're not supposed to
They're
kill
all doing the exact same
Is it
thing.
because of their connection to that other world?
I'm not sure, but my heart is telling me. Don't kill it.
Anyway, are you ready
We attack the
for a
roots.
boss fight?
Wouldn't that help it get away?
I mean, am I ever?
Don't hurt the afterling. Strike only the roots and we can set it free.
So like, I'm guessing this is going to be one of those special kind of JRPG boss fights where there's one target that you're not supposed to hit.
Right
Yeah,
behind you?
yeah, it is. Here's the problem, though. There is only one target.
I mean, that does seem like a problem.
So yeah, the way this fight works is that you are in a damage race against Valara. If you attack while its head is up, you will do damage to the roots. Eventually, it will put its head down, and if you continue to attack, you will do damage directly to the afterling. In addition, while its head is down, Valara will attack it and hurt it. And when she does this, and essentially what happens is, if the afterling runs out of HP, you lose. Instant game over.
Act like a pain, and pain's what you get.
This seems to me like a very weird way of doing this kind of a boss fight.
The other thing that you may notice in the process of doing this is that you have no control over when the afterling switches its position.
Yes, see, that was going to be my question. Is like, how do you strategize this?
And if the afterling were to hypothetically change position after you already had, say, a full party relay combo set up, well, that would just be really unfortunate, wouldn't it?
That sounds really fucking obnoxious. Like, this is such a weird way of doing this kind of a fight. Why couldn't there just be two targets? Like, why could it not just literally be, here's the one thing and it's trying to kill the other thing, and you want to target the one thing and not target the other thing, and you want to not use anything that's going to accidentally hit it, and like maybe the other thing can be trying to like fuck with you while you're doing this? Just like, there's got to be like 5 real good ways of doing this kind of a boss fight, and this just isn't any of them.
Of course, the other thing to note is that, as mentioned, Valara will always be attacking the afterling, so you are on a hard time limit. I mean, obviously you can accidentally shorten the fight very, very easily, but broadly speaking, you have like maybe 4, maybe 5 switches tops before you just lose regardless, because Valara will kill it.
And like, Valara is always dealing damage to it even when it's in the good posture, right?
No, Valara will not attack it at all while it's in the good posture. So you will get no help in that regard.
Right, I mean, like, at least always deal damage to the head while it's in the good posture. That sounds like the kind of thing that this game would do. It's like, its health is always counting down, but... yeah... like, that would require this to be cleverer than it actually is, and like, this is what keeps getting me, right? It's not just that this is a weird way of doing it, it's that it's a dumb way of doing it. I mean, further question, can we heal it?
I don't believe so. Because anytime you select a healing item, it defaults to picking the party. Like, your options don't go across the way.
Pain, and pain's what you get.
Again, this is like the kind of consideration that would occur to me automatically if somebody came to me and said like, hey, design this encounter that's like, you've got to kill the other thing while keeping the one thing alive. There's all kinds of ways that you can make this like dynamic and interactive and not like weird and arbitrary, like in any way organic. Like, just mechanics for protecting stuff.
Anyway, to make a long story short, I cut 10 minutes of failures out of this video. And that's honestly faster than it took me to clear it the first time when I was practicing.
Yeah, I'm starting to really understand the reputation that this stretch of the game has. I mean, all of that, and we didn't actually attack any of the Empire guys at all. We just, like, took out a tree before they could take out the thing in the tree.
You know, that was literally what Dilo said before the boss fight, was like, hey, you know, we could probably kill Valara if we focused on her here. And Sagi, that's when Sagi did the no, we have to free it, and we can't let it die.
Could that be because we freed the Afterling?
Who says it's free?
Yeah, like,
My mission
they're
is to
still
kill
here.
this thing.
Yes, Eddie, something, the consequences of my
I'm
actions.
not about to let it disappear.
No! Don't, Valara! Please don't!
Sagi sewing. Well, this fucking sucks. Absolutely no possible way we could have seen that development coming.
Nothing could have been done. Nothing at all. The only way that could have played out